welcome to Fandom Family Chats. I'm your host, Maureen, and we are joined with Amanda.
Hello.
And our very special guest, Aaliyah Muhammad.
Hi.
She plays Renee on Cruel Summer.
Yay.
Now, were you aware of how big it was when it first came out?
No, I was not aware of how big the project was going to be. I did know it's going to be on Freeform, but the fact that it was going to be on Hulu got disclosed to me a little bit later. And I think it's also going to Amazon Prime as well. And that also got disclosed to me a little later as well. So I was not expecting for it to be as huge as it was, especially since Freeform said that this was their most watched show. I was not expecting that. Even though I knew we had this great cast, this great storyline, I was not expecting for it to be as huge as it was at all.
It blew up.
I don't think I was
fast.
Right. So fast. It blew up so fast.
Is this a genre that you like, that you enjoy, like the mystery sort of thing?
Yes, I love it so much. I love the mystery. I even like add a little murder in there for me. Yeah. Yes. I love it because I used to love watching Law and Order SVU.
Yes.
So the theories and the drama and people getting killed and you trying to figure out who really did it. It does it for me. It does it for me.
I like that you say people getting killed with a sparkle in your eye. I was a big
normal
fan until I had kids, and then I was like, I can't watch this anymore. Can't do it.
Oh yeah.
Now, Amanda is actually on another podcast that's all about true crime. So she's our resident true crime gal.
Oh, yes. Yeah. You see me. You understand.
It's my favorite. I watch the ID Network most of the day.
Wow. Yeah, you feel me. You really do.
I like the mystery.
It's I think that's what hooked everybody, but this was a mystery that was done in a way it hasn't usually been done. The not only was it separating between years, but the filmography was so, I've never seen filmography like this before, or cinematography like this. Right. Where it was different shades, different colors, different clothing patterns even. It was just like, the 90s didn't look that way to me, but now when I'm watching, I'm like, hey, yeah, maybe it did a little bit. This makes sense.
Right.
It was really neat to see that. Was there anything when you were filming or when you were watching it that was like, oh wow, that's really neat?
Yes, like the different filters that they used for the different years. I love that because my dad, he's a filmmaker as well. So growing up, I used to sit up and watch movies with him. I'm like, I like that cut. I like that pen. I wonder what camera they used for that one. So it was really the filter on the different years, and also the way that each character was completely different every single year. Like Jeanette had 3 different hairstyles every single year, and that I really love that. I really love to see whenever projects take that extra mile to actually truly put you in the world, because that's the beauty of the art, is the fact that you have the actors, but then you also have the designers behind the scenes who bust their asses to find all of this wardrobe for us and to make sure that we're all not clashing whilst also still going together. So it was the wardrobe for me. It was the wardrobe for me. And it was also the filter. Those two, they stuck out to me.
Did you enjoy that word? Like, is that your regular style?
So it's not my regular style, but when I was in high school, I was going through this 90s phase. And since I was born in 98, I think I'm a 90s baby. I know people tell me I'm not, and I don't count, but I count in my head.
You do count.
Exactly.
It's okay.
So so the 90s wear, the 90s outfit, I love it so much. I have overalls in here. I had like skirts and socks that I gave to Renee. I was like, I have this skirt and I don't wear it, but it's the 90s skirt. Can we use it? And they're like, yeah, let's try to use it. We didn't get the skirt, didn't make the cut. But I had so many 90s outfits, so many 90s jackets in my closet, still to this day, that I will still pop out with. So I love the 90s wear.
Oh, yay. I love the 90s. It was my
very
favorite.
nostalgic for me.
Yeah.
I went through a 90s phase in junior high and high school too, but that's because I was in junior high and high school in the 90s. So
I'm
I didn't have a
screaming.
There was one that it was your outfit in particular. It was when you were guys, it was a scene in, I can't, because we binge watched them. We watched them in real time, but then we also went back and rewatched them right before the finale and then rewatched them again. So I can't remember what episode it's in, but you are in Kate Wallace's room laying on the bed. It's you and Tennille, and you're telling her all the gossip after she's been found, and you stand up and you have these like windbreaker pants on that have the tie that you can gather it at the top and then you at the bottom. I had like 7 pairs of those pants and I was like, yes, that's awesome.
And they're so loud. They were so loud on set. It was such a quiet set when we filmed that one. And I got off the bed and all you heard was she's just looking out the window sad. We were looking at each other, we were like, oh, do you hear that? I don't know if you hear that.
Was there anything like that caused the character to break while you guys were filming?
No, we did not break while we were filming at all.
Yeah.
But as soon as the cut hit, we laughed because we were like, it was so loud and awkward because it goes from this dead silence, you saying, no, I'm tired, I want to give a statement that means something. And then all you hear is
so many childhood memories are coming back to, like, you know, when the teacher calls you up to the front of the class wearing those stupid pants and the whole class is quiet and you're just like, that happened to me several times and I just quit wearing the pants because it traumatized me.
That sounds so traumatizing.
I mean, being in middle school wearing those pants.
Oh, I couldn't imagine.
There's no way you can sneak up on any authority figure. There's no way you can sneak in the house if you broke out of the house. There's no way.
Literally,
maybe that's why our parents bought them.
Probably so. They were on to something. They were definitely on to something.
So were you a fan of the show? I know that the show is really intriguing, but were you a fan who you didn't watch it in real time, you said, right?
Well, so I did watch it in real time. My fiance forced me to do it because he was such a fan. He was like, we have to watch it today. It's coming out today. But yes. So initially the first 2 episodes I was just basically watching a project that I was in. And then it got me hooked. I'm like, okay, I need episode 3. I read episode 3, but I still need episode 3. So I watched episode 3 and eventually I got hooked. I found myself getting frustrated because it was coming out weekly and I'm like, I need to know now. And I'm a big fan of freeform shows. Like right now I'm watching Motherland and I'm trying to also go with that one because, you know, they're doing the same thing. They're releasing it once a week. So, but yeah, freeform. I love freeform projects. And Cruel Summer was a banger. It was definitely a banger for me, for my friends. My family members were calling me. They're like, Aaliyah, what's gonna happen? And I'm like, I don't know. You have to stay tuned.
When we interviewed Shelby, she said the same thing. Her parents were always contacting her. What's happening? What's going on?
Right. They try to get you. They really do.
So you had the script, but were you able, because I know it's different reading something and knowing what's going to happen and seeing it play out on a screen, especially since you don't film the way it's written, right? So were you able to have some theories or were you just like, I'm not even gonna bother?
They didn't tell, for me personally, since I wasn't in episode 10, I didn't know anything about episode 10 and I didn't know anything about episode 9. So reading it, I had my own theories, but watching it and watching that last episode, the last 2 minutes of that last episode, I was like, what? What? And it's crazy. I was Team Kate the whole time. And I was like, I don't know. It's just something about this girl that I don't believe. I was like, I don't know why. I just simply don't believe Jeanette. I don't know why. I don't know what it is. I just don't believe her. And then it got to that last scene and I was like, yes. Yes, I knew I was right.
So were you disappointed before those last 2 minutes?
No, I had a hunch. I had actually, like, whenever the last scene went, I had pressed pause and I noticed I had like 4 more minutes left. And I was like, something else is about to happen. So I'm just going to sit back and watch. Because I'm an Aries, I have to be right. I don't accept that I'm wrong until defeat punches me in the face. So I'm like, I have to be right about this. And I was right, so it fulfilled me.
I had to hang my tail between my legs a little bit because I was anti-Mallory the entire show, and I was pro Jeanette the whole show.
So you got hit with a truck at the end.
Yeah, a little bit. I was so cocky before the 2 minutes. I was like,
And we were doing a live podcast.
yeah, we were watching it live. So you can actually be like, yes, I knew it. And then what? No, what?
Oh my God.
I got a little cocky. And we had interviewed Ben Kane, and we were going to ask you the same question. Do you think, and he brought up a good point, it doesn't really matter, but do you think that she sat on knowing Kate Walsh was in that house for a while, or do you think she was the one who caused the police to show up at his house?
Okay, so my hunch, I assumed that she called the police. That's what I assumed. And I assumed that the smile was because she's like, I can be her savior and she'll want to be my friend again. That's what I think. Now, we don't know. I guess we have to stay tuned for season 2. But that's what I thought with my minor writer background.
I'm with you on that though. That's the only thing that's helping me save face for being Team Jeanette. No, but she called the police there, so it's sort of okay.
Right.
Sort of okay.
So now I really need to know. Because if she wasn't going to call the police, that changes a lot of things for me.
Yeah,
it really does.
Part of me thinks that they're not going to touch on that. They're just going to let us think she's a psycho the whole time.
Let's do it.
So was there something on set that I know you talked about the wardrobe a little bit, but was there something on set that you maybe didn't know what it was? We heard some stories about Olivia Holt not knowing what a Walkman was.
I don't know. I didn't know what that is, and I still don't know what it is. I know they explained it to us a couple of times, and I'm like, iPod? Not an iPod? Not an iPod. Okay.
No, not an iPod.
But the Walkman, I did not know what the Walkman was. I knew what a pager was, but whenever we were in the in like the scene with Vince in his movie room, I don't know why, his block, we went to Blockbuster afterwards. But whenever we were there with Vince, his cash register threw me off. It just threw me off. Like, it threw me all the way off. Even though I already knew what that cash registers looked like that back then, but just looking at it and seeing him push the buttons open, watching it open, I'm like, what? How did anyone ever function like this?
All of my first jobs had one of those things sitting on the counter.
And it's so huge and it's so dense, and it looks like if it falls on you, you're a goner. No bueno, no more. You're done.
Yeah.
Like,
you should try moving them around.
Yes. Yes. To clean underneath them on a restaurant counter, it was really difficult.
Lord, it looks like it didn't get any water damage though. Water falls on.
That's because things back then were made so they were indestructible. They're like cockroaches. There's nothing gonna kill them.
Literally.
Like the Nokia phone.
Oh,
I had one of those.
yes, the big block. Wait, like the big block ones?
No, the tiny little rectangle Nokias. I didn't have the big block ones.
We had they weren't like the ones from Saved by the Bell or anything, but they were big
like
rectangles.
I don't know, like this big.
Solid as a rock.
Right.
You could throw them.
Too?
Yes. A little bit. Not as, it was like maybe an inch thick. Maybe.
Oh, that's thick. That's pretty thick.
It was no smartphone. Thick, not in a good way this time.
Right. I'm screaming.
Here, they look like this. Here, I can get this
I
picture.
had mine in bright yellow. That was my very first phone. Yep.
Can you see?
Oh, yeah, I've seen one of those before in my house, but I never had it while it was working. I think that was like my dad's work phone or something like that.
It became your toy.
It was my toy.
My kids now have Blackberries as toys because those are pretty much obsolete. So
Mine have razors.
See, that makes me feel old. That makes me feel so old. I used to want a razor, you flip it open.
I had a hot pink one.
Ooh, see, I wanted the red one. It wasn't like, it was like a dark red kind of deal.
I remember that one.
I was like, if I have that razor, I'm rich. That's all that matters is the razor.
I was in high school at the time, and I thought I was. And then I had the one where you turned it sideways and flipped it up, and then you could type. What was it? Sidekicks?
Yeah, sidekicks. I didn't have one of those until I was married.
Wow.
You're older than
you
me.
You need to sound so astonished at that.
I'm a 90s kid too here.
I was born in 83, so I experienced all of the 90s.
See, the true 90s kid, you truly experienced the 90s. I experienced the end of the 90s. But a lot of 90s music, I definitely got to indulge in.
That's because 90s music is amazing.
That was the best part, to be honest. So,
yeah. Even the playlist for Cruel Summer was dope.
Yes.
Like, it was a really nice playlist.
That was my
Did
favorite
you
part,
guys get to play all of the songs that were in the playlist? Because I felt like there was so much more I wanted to hear.
Right. I didn't get a chance to. I didn't. But I did create my own playlist for the summer, for Cruel Summer. And I had AC/DC, I had Madonna, did I have TLC on there?
TLC's a 90s staple. You have to.
Right. And I think because
so.
I was trying to be very specific on the years 93, 94.
Oh, they might have come out after 95.
Right.
Can't
so
remember.
I think they were on my like 90s vibe playlist, but not my actual 90s playlist.
Mm-hmm.
But I had Jeez Louise, this song is not coming to me. Oh, my brain hates me. No, I'm not gonna do this to myself. I have a phone. And in my phone,
There you go.
because it was it's on the tip of my tongue. It was my favorite song of forget it. I lose. But I had a really,
It'll come.
here it is.
There it is.
I had a really dope playlist put together, and it's actually
You have to share that with
Renee.
us.
I got you.
Like some screenshots or
Got
something.
you. Let's see. Hold on. I can show you. Okay, I have 11 tracks. JJ Fad. That's who I was getting mixed up with. I had JJ Fad on. I guess it's turned around, but these were her 11 songs. I have No Diggity.
Yes.
Suicide Blonde. Ice Baby. Keep Your Head Up. Hey Mickey. That's the song. Hey Mickey. I had Vogue. My Prerogative. Poison. Jump. Smells Like Teen Spirit, and Supersonic.
I'm so glad someone has a Nirvana on their playlist, because we were asking each other, where's the Nirvana in this show? Why is there no Nirvana?
We did.
Right. I had to do Nirvana because whenever I watched Suicide Squad, they sampled Nirvana's song and they slowed it down. And we're all just oh no, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna be on your podcast singing. But yeah, I love Nirvana. And initially I actually had a line about it and it got changed, but it was a line about Nirvana in there. And so I was like, yeah, and it got changed. And I was like,
oh,
whatever.
So close. Now I bring this up on every Cruel Summer podcast, every interview we do. I'm a youth leader and I'm watching the fashion of all of my students echo exactly what it was like when I was a junior high and high school. And it's part of me wants to be like, I was cool before you were. So, and I feel like a little bit like awesome about it. But then I'm like, why was that ever a thing? Why was that ever? That looks horrible. So
screaming. Oh no.
Is there any style in particular they had you put in that you're like, yes, I'm bringing this back?
Okay, so the sweats, I love the idea of like a tight shirt and then some baggy pants. I was like, I wear this on a regular basis. So the outfit when Renee was at the skating rink and she had the blue sweatpants on, that red and white striped top and that yellow jacket, oh, girl was fired. She was fired and she knew she was. I love that outfit. And also, there was another outfit where she had like the mini skirt. Oh, it was whenever we were playing slap hands, and I don't think she was really shown that much, but she had like the Clueless mini skirt with the plaid, and it was green.
I picked up on that outfit. Yep.
Yes, the pastel purple tank top. Oh, I love that.
It was in 93 at the mall. It was in episode 1.
Yes, and she had the waterfall ponytail. Oh yeah, it was a whole vibe. Her whole outfit, from the hair to the feet, it was a vibe. Yes, ma'am.
There was one outfit in particular that you had worn that was like my MO in junior high. It was the overalls with that tight like crop underneath. And so there was like a little bit of midriff. That was if you wore that in junior high, you were the coolest person ever.
Oh, I love that outfit still to this day. I will still wear it to this day. I feel like the 90s vibe is endless. It's timeless because no, we haven't let go of it yet.
No. and I don't think we ever will.
No.
At all. And that's okay. And I can die knowing that, and I'll be okay.
I think YouTube has picked up because when we go into our YouTube channel, I'm the one who, well, all of us are able to access our YouTube channel, run it and everything, but I post all the podcasts. And so sometimes I forget I'm in our podcast account and I'll watch videos. And Glamour has these things out of 100 years of style. Go through, and I think it picked up that because I keep posting all the Cruel Summer stuff from 93 and 94 and 95. So it's really fun to watch how it changed. So that's kind of neat.
Wow, that's facts though. It's wild.
So with Renee, there is a scene in, I think it comes from 95. You guys are at or maybe it's 94. You guys are at the fair. So it's a one episode where they had the carnival and all the noise, all the lights, and you are being interviewed. You and Tennille, you and Shelby are being interviewed by the newscasters, and you are being so gossipy and so catty about Jeanette and what she's going through. And I heard she does this now, and you just giggled like a schoolgirl about it. You were so excited to share this horrible piece of gossip. You don't seem very much like Renee to me. So is there anything that you were able to bring in from you to her? She's more vapid than you are, I think, but there's got to be something there that crosses over.
Right. Okay. So I channeled my Mean Girls, like the movie Mean Girls. I love that movie.
Yep.
I genuinely laughed. That was my genuine laugh because I thought the line was so mean.
It was
so mean.
It had nothing to do with the news report.
Nothing. She was like, okay. But from my personal life, I really pulled from, because I have a younger brother. So he and we're only like a year and a half apart. And we go at each other's, well, whenever we were younger, we used to go at each other's throats back to back, bow, 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 bow. And he was very quick with it. He's the type of person to where if I say, like my jeans, he'll have a response literally in 0.5 seconds. So I had to get my response game up. So since I got my response game up and being like, I got more quick with it, that's what I really incorporated with Renee. Because I feel like a lot of things that Renee says, she doesn't think about. Like these are things that they're just coming off her top of her dome. She's like, oh yeah. Now she's not just that. She's a sit-in with a bad haircut too. Yeah. And it's my quickness. I tried to bring my quickness into it. And I also tried to, because Shelby and I are friends in real life. Mm-hmm. So that was easy to have the Renee and Tennille partnership because we already knew each other. We've already worked together before. We knew each other for probably 2 years before we filmed Cruel Summer together. So that was easy. That was all really Aaliyah and Shelby. Like we already had the relationship there. But I think my quick-wittedness, that's what I had to bring that for Renee. She needed it.
Yeah, because Shelby, I feel like there was, even in the scene in the movie store, I cannot for the life of me remember the name of the movie store they gave it. It wasn't Blockbuster, it was like Rent a Night or something like that.
Rent a Night, I think so. So.
When you guys were watching the news story of Tanya, it's really, really hard for me to say that. Up in the north here, we say Tanya no matter how it's spelled.
I'm screaming.
So Tanya, when she was giving her news report and you and Tennille are watching it, and Jeanette says, that's a lie. And the way you turn around so fast and you were so quick I think you even did like a hand motion with your hand. You're like, what? But that was really, really, that reaction time was real fast.
Thank you.
And Thank you. I was looking up we were doing a little research into you before we did this, and I cannot remember the name of the movie, but there was a movie that you and Shelby had done before a couple years ago, right?
We did a show together called Scam Austin.
That's what
it was on Facebook Watch for 2 seasons.
Okay, awesome. And how did you said your dad is a filmmaker. How did you get started in this? Did he like encourage you in it, or was it just something you were like, Dad, I want to do this?
It was my mom who encouraged me. So my mom growing up, she did like modeling, and then she burned her leg on the back of a motorcycle. So she thought she could never model ever again. So she stopped. So whenever I was younger, like my dad has been filming since before I was born. I vividly remember watching movies that he's done, and I was 2 years old on somebody's hip, and I'm in the movie, and I was like, what? But so that was all my mom. She encouraged me to be in the projects. At one point in time, I even told her I was going to quit acting just because it wasn't easy. It's not an easy job to have at all. It was stressful, especially on me, because at the time, I think I was like 11 or 12. And I was like, I'm not booking anything. They want 12 and 13-year-olds, but I'm not booking anything. And then as I got older, I realized they want older people to play the 12 and 13-year-olds.
Yeah.
But yeah, my mom really encouraged my dad to let me in the projects. Initially, my dad didn't really want me in the industry just because, for whatever I guess he feels, but he didn't really want me to do it. My mom, so she actually casted some of his projects for him as well. So she just had a knack for seeing talented people and pushing them to the front. And because I used to be a really shy child growing up, I was antisocial. I didn't like talking to people. I didn't like when people looked at me. I didn't want any of it. Don't look at me, don't touch me, don't smell me, don't stand next to me. And she
don't
really
smell me should be a general rule of thumb, I think.
right. And she pulled it out of me. I have to give my shout out to my mom for that.
Aww.
So when was your first real gig in the industry?
I was 12 years old. I did a project called, no, actually I was 11. I did the project called Hiding in Plain Sight. I had a supporting lead for the role. Oh, I forgot my character's name. It was so long ago though. Like it was such a long time ago. And I got my agent then, and that's whenever I actually started acting pretty consistently.
Okay. Awesome.
Nice.
I'm gonna check out that movie. I feel like that was a pretty high-end movie, Hiding in Plain Sight, wasn't that?
There were two movies called Hiding in Plain Sight. The one I was on was not the high-end one. It was not. And I am a completely different person. My acting nowadays is way different than my acting in my first project. So I watched that project and I cringe. I'm like, who put me out there? Who told me I could do this?
To be fair, most of us do that looking back when we were 11, but we didn't have it on as wide of a scale as you do. We didn't film. We just have home movies.
Right. Or a video. Right.
Yeah. And by the way, ours were taken on that massive video camera is what we had when we were 11.
See, I do remember the video camera because my dad had one and I knocked it over one day. He was like, ooh. Yeah, and I realized that moment how expensive it was.
Those are not cheap. I was not allowed to touch cameras because I broke everything I touched. Everything.
I'm screaming. Same.
So are you from the Dallas area then? Or is this something?
Yes, ma'am. Okay. Born and bred.
Oh.
Aww.
Amanda's also our resident
neighbor.
Dallas.
Hi, neighbor.
Yeah.
What part of Dallas are you from?
I'm in Richardson.
Oh, wow. Okay. I grew up in Oak Cliff. I went to Duncanville High School. Okay. And then I lived in downtown Dallas for a little while. I had to get out of there. It was too stressful out there. And now I live like in the Grand Prairie area.
Okay. Yeah.
Now
I know wherever you're being. We used to live in Addison. Now when our younger part of your days. Now with kids, we had to move out of Dallas.
Oh yeah, understandable. Completely understandable.
See, me in the north, when I say someone's from Dallas, it always surprises me when someone says, what part? And then they give a different name. Like,
Dallas is huge. You can literally drive for 45 minutes and you will still be in Dallas.
Yeah.
I live in a town of 5,000 people. So, I mean, my biggest neighbor is, I think, probably an hour and a half away. And we have a town of 66,000 near us. And then but Green Bay is our biggest neighbor. And that's an hour and a half away.
Gotcha.
So there's over 100,000 people, but I suspect Dallas has more than that.
Yes.
Yeah. There's too many of us.
Oh my gosh.
When we've interviewed people for Cruel Summer, Ben Kane, I think, was the first one we've interviewed so far who wasn't from Texas. And so because he's from Michigan. So I feel like he understands me a little bit more. But every time we've done an interview with someone from Texas on Cruel Summer, they notice my accent. And I'm like, I don't think I have an accent, but everyone's like, no, you do.
You have an accent.
And I don't understand like the logistics of Texas, I guess.
No, and like with Texas, like we have accents in different parts of Texas.
Right.
You can usually tell if somebody's from the South or the West or the East. And by the way, Dallas County has over 2.6 million.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a county in Dallas?
That's Dallas County.
That doesn't mean anything to me. Is that a county in Dallas?
Well, like there's different cities in Dallas County.
Oh, okay.
But just Dallas, there's over 2 million in just the city of Dallas.
It's nauseating.
Yeah.
That's why we moved. I mean, we're technically in Dallas County, but
right. Yeah, there's so many people. And I'm saying that like I'm not out here. I'm one of them. Like,
I stay in my bubble. It's okay.
I'll take my small town. I'm good with that. It was very Gilmore Girls-esque. I'm okay with that.
Yes.
So did you have, when you first started out, was there something that you really wanted, like a genre you really tried to get into, or was it TV over movie? What was your preference there when you would try to get parts?
So my preference my preference was like, I really wanted to get into like doing series. That was my preference because growing up, I used to want to be on Disney Channel. I wanted to be like on a show on Disney Channel. So I wanted to do series initially. As I've gotten older, I want to do more movies. And it's just, I don't know why. I just feel like I love them all. I truly love doing movies, commercials, because I do it all. I do commercials, movies, series, and movies just have my heart. Because with movies, like, if you do like a small part, so I did Infamous with Bella Thorne. I had like a minor role in there, and it was just, I don't know why, it's just the movie set feels different. Like the series set feels like it's very family oriented, which is not really bad, but it's like we all feel like family because we're about to come back and see each other next year, and then we're gonna see each other year after that, and then again, and then again. And with movies, you film it, you do your premiere, and then it premieres, and then you watch it, and then it gives me another opportunity to book another goal. And it gives me I love change. It gives me another character to be. It gives me another time to play. So I'm gearing more so toward the movies. I want to be in a scary movie. I want to do a scary movie, and I want to die at the end.
It's like oh my gosh, her name is slipping me. Kiara, when she just did Fear Street.
Oh yeah,
I just watched that the other day. It was really good.
I need to watch that.
It's on Netflix. It's R.L. Stein's, so it's Goosebumps, but it's extremely gory.
That's a 90s book if I've ever heard one. R.L. Stein.
It's
that's
extreme, like very gory.
So like blood.
There's 3 different parts. There's like a 94, like a 70s, and like a 60s.
Right.
It's really fun.
And what is it called again?
Fear Street.
Fear Street.
I just love how excited you get about those things.
I love scary movies. I love suspense. I love thrillers.
Yeah, I think you probably need to look up the order of them. I think 1994 was the first one, but there's already 3 parts that are out, and Jeanette's in the second one.
Okay.
Kiara,
yes, sorry.
I only asked because we have another co-host that is one of the owners with us, and her name's Jeanette, and she loves all horror thriller. Like that's her favorites. She was trying to get on here today, but her husband had to be somewhere else, so she couldn't be here today.
Oh man, tell her I missed her. We could have bonded over blood.
Yes, absolutely. She would have loved that.
Oh yeah.
I used to sort of like it because I sort of like being scared, but that's not my thing anymore. I'd rather laugh than have nightmares.
Completely understandable.
Usually I watch horror and then I put on a comedy to go to sleep.
I'll take crimes though. I watch stuff on murderers.
Oh yeah.
That's interesting to me.
Yes, like the serial killers to understand why they did it. Yes.
It's the psychology. Anything that has a psychology aspect to it, I will watch it. Because that's
right.
Like Criminal
See,
Minds.
that makes sense. Because growing up, I wanted to do okay, so I had a wide array of things that I wanted to do, but I also wanted to be a psychologist, and I wanted to just understand why my mind worked the way my mind worked. So I was like, I want to study psychology, but it makes so much sense as to why I like all these horror projects and all these thrillers.
The puzzle.
Psychological.
Yeah, it's a puzzle. You got to figure out how and I think that's why I connected with Cruel Summer so much, is because I had to fit the pieces together. And a lot of I don't know if you listen to any of our Cruel Summer podcasts, but a lot of it was us not even really talking about what happened so much as talking about the psychology behind Martin's character and the psychology behind what each character was doing and why they were doing it.
Yeah.
Right. And I probably shouldn't have loved Martin's character. I didn't really love his character, but just the fact of knowing him offset and knowing that you have to do some type of character development in order to get there and in order to successfully get there, because he did the damn thing. He really did. Mm-hmm. So it was mind boggling to me, knowing this sweet guy off camera and then he turns into a weirdo as soon as you say action. Like, I need to learn how to.
We had to preface a lot of our podcasts with, just so our viewers know, we don't love Martin Harris. We just love Blake Lee. Just make sure you understand that difference. He's awesome.
Blake Lee is amazing. Oh my gosh. He's so awesome.
But I think all of you did. The casting was so great on this across the board with all of you. You all really dipped into that role really, really well. And I think all of you, even there was that scene at the lunch table. And it was Shelby's line, but you were sitting right next to her when she very subtly, and I think that's the funniest line she has, when she's like, "Speaking of lovers, Ben, you want to go out on a date?" It's one of my favorite lines of the whole show. There's like a Mack truck hitting somebody in the face.
Oh my god.
Your expression right next to her when he tells her no, like, and I say this literally every podcast, the nonverbal. I love the nonverbal in any single movie, show, whatever. And your facial expression as you're sitting next to Shelby or to Neil, it conveyed so much. And so all of you guys were able to so completely get into character. And I think that's why this show is so long lasting, because you guys gave yourself over to your character so completely.
Oh, I appreciate that so much. It is really beautiful hearing that, because I've been teaching acting for a little while.
Oh,
and I've been
do it all, don't you?
Girl, I try to. If I do it all, that means I didn't miss anything.
That's true.
Because I also I'm on my spare time, but I'm a preschool teacher as well. So for my preschoolers, I actually have a show for them. So I'm writing, editing, producing this show. I'm teaching them how to do voiceovers. I'm teaching them how to film. Now I'm about to teach them how to edit. But in my moving on to the acting class, I try to talk to my student, because I have one hardcore student. She comes every week. And I try to talk to her, allow your character to take you over. Don't judge her. If she's a mean girl, she's not a mean girl to you. This girl, everything she's doing is valid. Everything she does has a reason. And none of it is just because she's a mean girl. That's just what we're seeing from the outside in. But this character, she has emotions. She has feelings. She doesn't want to be a mean girl. She doesn't want for the whole school to hate her. Like, she doesn't want to be jealous of the other girls. She's not doing this because she wants to do it. These are human characteristics that are just simply coming out. And I really appreciate you for acknowledging that, because it makes me blush.
Well, good. And I think that was one of my favorite parts about the show, is because you could see moments of vulnerability, and especially you and Tennille, because you guys weren't featured, but you guys always had this air of, I don't know, there was like a contradiction to you guys, where you were this popular group, but then you'd have these quiet moments where you could see that there was something that was broken in you a little bit, and you wanted to dig into that a little bit deeper. And okay, this isn't why they're being mean. They aren't just rotten, vapid, horrible people. There is a reason they're like this. You just want to like dig into that meat.
Right. Because even some of Renee's character development that I noticed, I didn't even notice it reading. I noticed it more so watching, was whenever Kate mentioned that Renee's parents are wide in distance, like in age. Like Renee's dad is way older than Renee's mom. And for me, that was just, it was character development. So I'm like, okay, let me add that to Renee. And that makes sense as to why she's feeling this way whenever this and this and this happens. That makes sense as to why she might feel bad. Like maybe if season 2 does come out in the future, she may sympathize with her because she may say, oh, my parents are distant in age. But yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. But yeah, don't let me ramble because I'll take it.
We like the rambling stuff. That's our favorite. We like to let you lead in that way. So speaking of season 2, is there, do you have any idea if Renee will be making an appearance yet?
I don't know yet. I haven't had any confirmations. I just know that whenever Jessica Biel put it on Instagram, she tagged me. She was like, can't wait to work with you all again. So I'm like,
that seems promising.
95. Yeah, it's pretty promising, but this industry,
you never know.
You never know. I just try to hope for the best and expect for the worst. And God willing, something good will come out of it.
Yep.
Well, you guys had a different year too, because you started filming in 2019, correct? And then you had to stop when the world stops.
Right.
So typically when you film, do you, in a series like this, do you start filming a couple months beforehand and you're still filming as episodes are coming out? Or is the filming process all done by the time episodes start premiering?
It depends on the project. Like with Cruel Summer, we were pretty much done whenever everything started premiering. But with Scam Austin, we were still filming as the show was going out. So we did like the first couple of episodes, and then the show would come out, and then we would complete the season from there.
Okay, gotcha. So sorry, I've spent a week with my children on vacation, or 2 weeks, so it's my voice is a little.
It's okay.
Someday you may get that.
She said she's a preschool teacher too.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
had 23 children.
Amanda taught preschool too, didn't you?
I did for 11 years. I did.
What?
She just stopped when COVID hit.
Oh wow, that's understandable.
I'm not going back.
You guys are very similar.
I love those kids. Oh, I love those kids, but it is a very hard job.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
The hardest thing for me for being a preschool teacher is not the children. It's and it's so sad. Yeah. It is so sad. It's heartbreaking.
I got lucky. I had a lot of good parents. I had a few.
That's
a few of those, but I had really amazing parents. I got so lucky.
95% of my parents are great, but whenever you have the handful of parents that give you a hard time, it's hard for me just right now. It's hard for me to see the other ones because like,
yeah.
What's going on?
And you work in an administration where there's only so much you are able to do.
And I felt bad because I was telling my students, I try to tell them every day, I ask them, who's in charge of your future? And they say, me. So I ask them that every day. And it's sad because a lot of times they come in and the personality traits that they have, the things that they say, they're not getting that from themselves. They're getting that from their parents, and their parents are getting that from other people, and they're getting that from other people. So it hurt my heart because I'm like, I'm telling you, you're in charge of your future and you're not even aware of where you get half the words that you say from. So,
yeah.
But hopefully in the future, like 10 years down the line, they'll be like, yeah, Miss Aaliyah told me I'm in charge of my future.
There you go. You remind them of it every day. See, now originally, when I was going to school, I thought, I'll go for early education. I'll teach kindergartners and preschoolers. And then I realized I would get arrested if I taught them. So I had to change course fast. I don't have the temperament to deal with that many small children at a time.
Yes, it definitely teaches you patience.
Yeah.
Patience.
I've been working on that for a couple decades now, and have not gotten to the point where I need to teach small children. So then I thought I'll teach college students because I can do whatever I want there, and they're paying me, and that's fine. And then I realized, no, I would knock someone out. I'm not a mean person. I just have to.
They try you. They do try you. They try to test your patience. They want to test your gangster. They want to see. They want to see what is Miss Aaliyah going to say back when I say this. Like one of my students, I asked her, she was trying to eat her train, and she was playing with her food, and I was like, don't play with your food, because if you play with your food, we're just gonna throw the tray in the trash. I was like, do you want to throw the tray in the trash? He was like, yes. And I was like, are you sure you want me to throw it in the trash? She was like, yeah. Are you done with your food? She was like, no. She tried me. She wanted to know what I was going to say back. She wasn't even having a conversation. She was trying to fill me out. She won. She won.
Pick your battles.
Actually, I have 3 of those living in my house, and one of them is 2, and she's very, very much like that.
Yeah. The children today, they're different. They're way different than what I was when I was their age. Like they are fearless. Like they don't fear anything. They don't fear me, the principal, their parents. They don't fear any of us. They're just, they got it together. One of my students told me she knows everything.
I tell my kids every day, I'm like, if I spoke to my parents the way you just spoke to me, I wouldn't be here.
Would not be here at all.
I wouldn't be here. You guys wouldn't exist.
I grew up in the 80s and 90s where capital or corporal punishment was totally normal. I grew up when my brother would get smacked in the hand with a ruler by his teacher. So that's the decades I grew in. If I talked to my parents that way, I would have got a backhand.
No. And whenever I grew up, I vividly remember being paddled, like for doing things. I got paddled, and I'm like, these children these days, like,
y'all don't even understand.
But it's good that you have the heart for that.
I initially started teaching preschool because I wanted to know, like, would I be able to actually teach people like adults? And I was like, maybe it's kind of the same. So after I taught preschool,
I think there's a similarity there.
Kind of.
You'd be surprised. It's so sad because, like, my preschool students, I would like put the 1 on the 1, and they're like putting on the 2, on the 5, on the 10, and then my acting students, I'm like, it feels the same way. I'm like, you can't judge your character, but my character did this. You can't judge your character. I wouldn't do that as my you can't judge your freaking character. Like, why do I keep saying
you are your character. Are you gonna judge yourself? No.
Yeah, she does.
Oh,
yeah, she does. So we're working through that first.
I mean, that can be hard to accept.
And I can completely understand her because I'm very hard on myself as well. So I truly get where she's coming from, because if you can't really take it easy on yourself, you can't take it easy on anybody else. It's very difficult for you to take it easy on anybody. So to be a great actor, I personally believe you have to have a lot of character development and also self-development within yourself. You have to have a solid foundation on who you are and what you believe, and then you go from there. You can't just say, I'm a terrible person, let's start acting. You have to build, you have to grow, you have to be willing to change and adapt, and willing to truly love this character, truly understand this character. I sit down with her for hours doing scene work, and she's like, have we started acting yet? I'm like, girl, this is acting. This is acting. Action. We're here. Scene work. Let's do it.
Has that been your biggest struggle as an actress?
Teaching acting?
Well, just in general, what has been your biggest struggle?
As an actress, my biggest struggle is
she doesn't have any.
No, I have one. I have a couple of them. I'm trying to figure out which one I'm gonna tell you about. And so I'm gonna tell you my top 2. Whenever I don't know if I have ADHD or ADD, but if I go on set and we're filming like for a long time, like they'll say action, I'm like line, cut, and I'm just like this. Like I'm zoned. I'm not thinking about anything. I just go off into wherever, I guess in fairy tale land. And it's really difficult for me to concentrate sometimes. So with that and my breaking down my scenes, I have to force myself to sit down and break down this character. Cause I'm like, I need to break down this character. What's her age? When's her birthday? What city does she live in? And then sometimes I get too deep. I'm like, okay, what street does she live on? What's her zip code? And I realized I sat here and I built her a whole house, and I don't know what high school she went to, and I've been here for an hour. That's one of my issues. And another conflicting thing as an actress, I would say, would be my morals, because I am Muslim. So like, I know sometimes like you have these character roles where you probably have to take your shirt off or something. And I have friends who are like, girl, I'll show everything. Like, just make sure you got the butts. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if I'll take my shirt off. I know I'll wear a bikini. Like if we're on the beach, I could do that. But like just in a sensual type, let me take my clothes off. You know, we're about to, I don't know if I can really get into it without judgment. Yeah. So that's something I would have to develop before I actually accept something like that. But it's just, I feel like sometimes, and I don't really think it's a problem, because really talking to my Asian as well, we are on the same page. She's like, girl, if you have morals, you have morals. Congratulations that you have morals. Like, exactly. A lot of people don't. Yeah. So I think my morals, they hold good for me, but maybe for the gigs that I audition for, a lot of times, because I get auditions for gigs and they're like, you gotta show some tatas, and I'm like, girl, I'm an A cup, you don't want to see nothing I got. I'm a pass. But yeah, I love it so much though. I love it so much. I try to look at every obstacle that I have as an actress as an opportunity to grow as an individual and also an actress. So whenever you ask me my hardships, it's difficult for me to go into that mindset, because I've tried to change it. Because like even my tattoo that I have right here, it means never a failure, always a lesson. So I just
what does it mean?
Never a failure, always a lesson.
Ooh, I'll write that down. I was like, every time you lift your arm.
So I've been having to literally switch my mindset as a human being in order to, I believe, become a successful actress, because that's my way of doing it without judgment.
Yeah. And I mean, you also don't just have one genre. Like if you focus on all the things that you're not good at, or all the things that you're struggling with, you have 900 other things that you're doing at that time. So
yes, ma'am.
So if that's your mindset, if you just let that be how you interact with things or how you react to things, you would be in the fetal position in the corner, not able to function at all. Yeah. So that's really wise advice.
That, because I've been there before. Like I was there. I was going through it. Like I still have anxiety to this day. I don't claim that I have depression anymore, because I believe I have not succeeded, but I've grown from it. But I was in that position. I was depressed. I was literally asking God, like, why did you wake me up? I know you take our souls at night. Why did you give me mine back? And I had to actually like get through that in order, because that was around the time where I was like, I don't think I want to act anymore. Like everything is stressful. I was looking at the fact that I was going to auditions once a week, not booking anything, not even getting callbacks. Yeah. And I'm like, my other friend, like she literally lived next door to me. She had the agent that I wanted. She was booking the gigs that I wanted. And it was so heartbreaking for me. So I went down this path of depression. Why am I not good enough? Why is everybody doing better than me? And then I realized, girl, why are you looking outside yourself? Yeah. You consistently have looked outside yourself. And I was going through it for like 4 or 5 years. So I had time to sit here and analyze myself, to examine myself, and to eventually correct myself. Because I realized I was thinking all of these things were happening to me. That's happening to me. Why is that happening to me? And I'm realizing these things aren't happening to me. They're happening because of me. This is just the way that I'm just so happy to respond to this situation. I decided to respond through anger. So that's the reason why I'm mad right now. If I decided to respond through laughter, I'd be chilling. But the way I decided to respond is the reason why you have the prolonged emotion, not the initial emotion, because somebody can piss you off. You're like, I'm mad. And then you can also tell yourself, okay, let's grow from it. Let's get through this. But whenever you decide to say, I'm mad, I'm still be mad, you're going to be mad with me, I'm going to piss you off too, then that's the moment that I realized I vividly remember becoming depressed, and I really remember taking it off. Just saying, I'm not this anymore. I experience depression still to this day, but I'm not going to allow it to claim me. I'm not depressed. Anxiety, no, she be knocking on my door. Like, good morning.
I hear you.
I think that's a really wise thing to recognize too.
Oh yeah, definitely.
My pastor says a lot that, comparison is the thief of joy. Because if you're constantly looking outside at everything else that everyone else has, and all you do is want that for you, then you're never going to achieve or move forward in any way, because you're just constantly looking at what you don't have instead of what you can be doing. So I think that's really wise advice.
And I try to tell myself, like, if I didn't get something that I wanted, God is saving something better for me. Like, it's not the fact that I lost out on something huge. There's something even bigger, more to come.
Yeah.
And that's really, that gets me. That gets me.
Is that some advice you would give to aspiring actors, writers in the industry?
Yes. And also what I tell my acting students, if you don't love it, it's not going to be fun. So if you don't love it, don't do it. Like, don't put yourself through that trauma. Don't put yourself through that pain, because this is an industry to where you truly have to have a solid foundation on who you are and what you want in order for you to get out of it sane. Yeah. So if you don't want to do it, don't do it. But if you do decide to take on this industry, don't expect for your life to change overnight, because it's not. I've been acting for years, like literally years, and I'm not where I want to be. And my acting students are still like, oh my God, Miss Aaliyah, I just wish I was where you were. So it's crazy, because whenever I look at them, I'm like, I wish I was where you are whenever I was at your time, whenever you were acting. One of my students, she's read like 10 books on acting. And I'm like, girl, I haven't acted my whole life. And I remember two or three. I probably skimmed through like 30, but I've actually read and grasped like 2 or 3 books. So I'm like, man. So yes, comparison is a thief of joy. That's great advice I would give to any actor. Even talking to my agent, that was the best advice she literally gave to me. Because I was like, I'm going down IMDb and I see this girl has this manager and that manager, and I see her headshots that she's taking and these other things that she's done. And my agent was like, Aaliyah. She was like, you're Aaliyah. Like, you're not her. Yep. You're not them. Yeah. And I didn't even realize I was still doing it to myself. She had to bring me back to earth. And she was saying, even down to the way that their headshots are taken, you can't compare, because you don't know what she did for the project. You don't know who she knows for this project. You don't know who she's worked with in the past. So if you compare your career to any other actor, you're going to go crazy. You're literally going to go crazy. And they're them and you're you. You can't be someone else. And you're good enough. I think that's something that just in general people struggle with, that they're enough. They don't have to be somebody else. Who they are is good. Literally everything that you were born with, that's all you needed. That's why you were born with it. Yeah, exactly. Like, because I also try to tell them, like, some gigs I may not book because I'm 5'1". They may need somebody who's 5'6", and I'm just not 5'6". I can't stretch. I can't do anything about it. Just 5'1", and that's okay. Like, there'll be a gig for a 5'1" person. Exactly. And I also think that's some more great advice for an actor. Just because you didn't book the role doesn't mean you're a bad actor or actress. It just simply means that they just probably didn't see you fit for that role. However, you got in front of that casting director that booked that major project that you wanted to be in, and he or she's going to have another major project that they're going to have, and they may even have you in mind. So just always look right. Always look to the future. Keep trucking. You got this. Period. Yes. I love how awesome you are. You're very optimistic. And I think that's something that's severely lacking in today's climate, severely lacking. And I think that if more people could learn to look outside themselves and have your viewpoint, it would be a lot easier in their life. Thank you so much. I give all praise to God. I really do. He's made me. Anything I am right now is because of the man up there. Absolutely. I'm with you there. So this is something that we ask everyone too, is we want to make sure that you let us know of any projects you have coming out, of anything that you're doing, anything you have coming out that we can watch, promote, take part in. I just recently did a K Jewelers commercial, so I'm waiting for that to come out. I don't know when it's going to come out, but I just know I recently did that. And are you the one getting engaged, coincidentally? Yes, I just recently got engaged.
I'm a wedding planner, so I hone in on that, and I try to like not like start talking over people when they start saying I'm just engaged. Like, oh, okay.
Oh my God, no, I need you. I need you. I have literally stopped planning my wedding.
Anytime you need me, you send me an email. I got you.
Thank you so much. I stopped planning it. I told me and my fiance, we had a conversation, and when I realized I'm supposed to be planning, like not everything, but majority of this, I was like, oh, we're gonna wait then. Yeah, we're gonna wait, and I'll let you know when I'm ready.
I mean, you don't think you can add one more thing on top of your massively mile high stack of things?
You know, I thought about it. I really thought about it. Did the numbers?
Right now.
You act, you write, you go behind the camera, you teach, you have an acting class on top of teaching, right? I mean, yeah, I can see how you wouldn't want to add one more thing on top of that. I do podcast. Oh, I mean, I have a bunch of different jobs, but they aren't all at the same time.
Right. See, yeah, mine are all at the same time, and I'm also still auditioning.
Yep.
On top of all of that, and it's so crazy because my manager knows this, but it's wow how many things I have stacked up, and how much I love acting that I'll say, oh, beep all that. Yeah, I booked the role. Like, but no, the wedding's gonna get pushed back as far as I can push it.
Well, I'm here to give you encouragement on that anytime you need it.
Thank you. I really
call me if you need help.
Yeah.
Got you too. I'll be calling you. Asking for preschool advice. Because this is my first year. It's gonna make a year in August, me being a preschool teacher.
Aww.
So I'm still experiencing, like, I look in the mirror and to myself, I'm like, I don't look like a teacher. Like,
why?
It's like it's settled. I don't know.
You don't look like one of your teachers that you had when you were younger.
Exactly. Like my teachers, they didn't talk to the students the way I try to make sure that my students understand you can have conversations with adults. Just because you ask an adult a question doesn't mean that you're disrespectful. It doesn't mean that you're wrong. Like, and you're allowed to mess up. So I try to make sure like they know we can have real conversations and you can trust me and I can trust you. Like sometimes I'll make mistakes and I'll say, sorry, y'all, Miss Leah just made a mistake. And I'll work with another teacher and she's not big on saying when she makes mistakes. So they're actually getting a dynamic of two different teachers. So seeing the other teacher that I work with, I'm just like, I don't act like her. I don't talk like her. And there I go again. Looking outside myself. Wow, that's a word.
I love watching revelations happen to a person while we're talking to them. That's awesome. Glad we can bring that out.
Wow.
It happens.
I'm constantly trying to just evaluate myself, constantly trying to figure out what can I do to make sure that I'm better than the day I was before. Because I'm such a competitive person. So now I'm competing with myself.
Yeah.
Okay. Aaliyah yesterday on the 16th, she ran a mile. Time to run 2 miles today. Let's do better than her. So I have to do that with myself or else somebody's going to be tail in the back.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Definitely.
Okay, so you have your K Jeweler commercial coming out. Is there another project you have coming out?
Yes.
Or anything else that you want to tell us about that you have on your docket?
Or your social handles where people can find you.
Because there's some people who claim to be other people and they're not.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you ever find out that there's somebody saying they're Aaliyah I Muhammad, let me tell you who it is. Okay, so my Instagram is Aaliyah I Muhammad, AALIYAHIMUHAMMAD. That is my Instagram. I also have a TikTok. That is also Aaliyah Muhammad on TikTok. And
our channel just recently got TikTok. Jeanette and Amanda sort of run that.
Yay! We love TikTok. Has been so amazing, especially for new actors, because SAG opened up their doors to influencers, and I know some people have had issues with that. I personally think it's cool because being an influencer is a lot of work.
Yeah,
like it's a lot of work.
You can never shut it off.
You can never shut it off, and then you literally if you're not a people person, you have to make yourself a people person. So I know for a fact that's hard. So I think that's amazing that they did that. But on Twitter, I'm Aaliyah Muhammad. I didn't put the D at the end because somebody else stole it. So it's just MUHAMMA.
Okay. I'm looking for you right now.
On Twitter?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you follow me on Twitter, I'm not that active. I really just I retweet. That's all I do is retweet. And sometimes here recently, I've been trying to find a photographer. I'm not really looking for a photographer, but I just wanted to put more people of color on, like doing the photography, like actually doing headshots. So I'm like, anybody doing headshots? And nobody responded. So, so if any personal colors listening and you do phenomenal headshots and you stay in Dallas, Texas, don't hesitate to DM me on Instagram, Twitter, wherever you find me at. Please DM me and please reach out to me because I'm trying to, got 76 things on my plate. I want a 77.
78 counting the
One
wedding.
more.
Who's counting?
There's always room for a little more.
No, not really.
I like that you say it with a smile while motioning. No way, no way.
No way, not at all. Don't believe me.
We always add more and more and more until we look up and say, I can't do anything.
I still struggle with saying the no and I can't.
Right. That's a fact though.
No, it's hard to say no.
No, it definitely is. It definitely is. I'm working on it. And I'm working also on stop saying sorry so much.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just if you just say I'm sorry, like you're accepting that on yourself. You're saying that you're a sorry person. I literally have tried to start saying I apologize. Yeah. And if I don't apologize, I'm going to say it.
Exactly. Yep. I have a friend. It was VBS for our church this week, and I have a 2-year-old, I have a 7-year-old, and I have a 10-year-old. Almost 3, almost 11, almost 8. But my 7-year-old, my 2-year-old it was at the end of it. It was last week, and there was cupcakes there. And my 2-year-old really wanted my 7-year-old's cupcake, and she made a power grab for it. But my 7-year-old tried to pull it away, so she came away with just a handful of all the frosting that was on top. And my 7-year-old only had the cake part. And my 2-year-old's holding it up like a victory thing, just a pile of frosting in her hand. A friend of mine walked by and she said, I'm so sorry. Why? My kid's the one who grabbed it off her cupcake. You don't have anything to be sorry about. You're fine.
It's a habit. We just have that habit.
Especially in the Midwest where we're all like, if someone is walking near us and they bump into us, we're like, oh, sorry. I'm sorry. And you move out of the way. Like, it's just instinct just comes out of your mouth like that.
Wow. And it's crazy how where you're from changes a lot of things, because if you go to the East Coast, they bump into each other and they keep it moving. Like, all right.
Yeah. Yep. Not apologizing for it
at all.
And I have family in Texas, and they're all about hospitality. Like they will do whatever they can. Like they're from Humble, so which I just love that they're from Humble, Texas.
That's so beautiful.
But they're all about hospitality. They are about what they can do for you always. Midwest is all about apologizing and taking ownership of things that you have nothing to do with. And so it's just that is interesting. The different we should do a psychology of the different regions. That's what we should do.
Mm-hmm. The psychology, because even filming Cruel Summer, the first episode we filmed with Max, I kept saying, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. He was like, you don't have to say that, right? And I'm like, say what? Like, I didn't even realize I was saying it as much as I was saying it. But my parents raised me, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir, no, sir. So it's just a habit now. I can't help it. I feel so bad.
Yeah. You feel bad about that. When you're being polite, you feel bad about being polite.
Literally. And I'm not going to say sorry for it.
Good. There you go. See, you're already making progress. That's awesome.
Look.
You're already better than yesterday.
I won.
That's right there. That's a motto. I should get that written somewhere on some.
You're already better than you were yesterday. Oh, I'm gonna hang that up in my room.
There you go.
I'm about to write that down.
Trying to get down too.
I got you. I'm gonna say that
you Amanda, with your inspirational phrases.
I need that. I need Amanda underneath that too.
Oh, I got you. I'm writing your name down right now. You're already.
Wait, what is it? You're already better than you were yesterday or tomorrow?
Yeah.
Yesterday.
You're already than you. What did I don't know what I said?
Yesterday makes more sense.
Yesterday.
I'm just
You're
gonna
already
write
better than you were yesterday.
Vision board done.
There you go.
We're done.
Aaliyah, do you have any other projects you'd like to tell us about or anything you have coming out?
Not at the moment, but I'll definitely keep y'all updated.
Yes.
If anything does come out, I'll shoot you an email and I'll let you know if I book something. I'll definitely keep you updated.
Okay, good.
Awesome.
We'll promote it on our, we do have, for our listeners, we do have a Facebook group called Cruel Summer Turner Family Fan Club. We realized that it's hard that it says Turner, not Wallace after the end of the last episode, but we can't change it now because it started off as Turner.
You just gotta
That's
go with
what it is.
it.
Well,
So feel free to look us up on there. We have Twitter at Family Fan Clubs, some variation of that. Same thing on Instagram, some variation of Family Fan Clubs. And you can always check out our YouTube channel, Family Fan Club, or Fandom Family Chats is our YouTube channel. Sorry, Fandom Family Chats is our YouTube. And if you ever need to reach out to us, ask us about any cast or crew we've had on the show or what's coming up on our Facebook groups or on our podcast or anything that we have going on, feel free to email us at familyfanclub2021@gmail.com. And Aaliyah, we always have our chat open so we can keep track of what we're doing here. Oh, TikTok. That's right. What is the TikTok handle, Amanda?
Family Fan Clubs.
Family Fan Clubs on
Fan
TikTok.
Clubs.
But we always have our chat open so we can communicate questions and timing and things like that. And
Right.
Amanda are like, she's awesome. She feels like an old friend. We just want to keep talking to her. So we really, really, really had so much fun talking to you. So much fun.
Thank
And
you.
we're believing you're going to come back for season 2. So we're going to have you back on because more people need to hear Aaliyah's sayings on life and get encouragement.
Period. Exactly. Yes, I agree. I agree on that.
Well, thank you again so much for coming on. And guys, check out Aaliyah's interview. Check out Cruel Summer. If you have not watched it, you can binge watch it on Hulu. I think it's on there for a little longer, isn't it? Is it still all up there?
Yeah,
It's still on there for a little longer.
And it'll be on Amazon Prime. So if you have not seen Cruel Summer, seriously, go check it out. You will not be sorry. And
Do it.
keep track of Aaliyah. Yes, go do it today, right now. All 10 episodes are up there. I had to think of how many episodes there were per minute. Get it done and let us know what you think. So on that note, we'll see you guys in a week. Thanks so much for watching.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.